make sure it's a go. All right, we're good to go. So, hi everyone. How are you?
Good, you?
Lovely.
Dan. All right, cool. Dan is chiming in right now, or logging in right now, and Ed sends his regrets. He thought he was gonna be able to make it, but he had a conflict come up. So we have everyone who we're supposed to have. So all good.
Hey, Dan.
Hey, guys.
Hey, Dan.
Hello. All right. So I've got 7:17 just to call the meeting to order. And again, we have everybody here except for Ed. And thank you, Councillor Perry, for joining us as always with a lovely hat. So.
About Mike Birk, did we reach out to Mike Birk? Did we send him a link?
I did.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, I included him on the. I try to keep him on all the updates and the messages I send out. So.
Okay. Because I forget to remind them. So.
Yeah. All good. All good. All good. So, all right. Meeting minutes from March 9th. Dana, thank you for doing this and also catching up on some of the minor changes I had, just to sort of follow the order of operations on this. Can I entertain a motion to adopt the minutes from March 9th?
I'll make a motion.
Okay. Can I get a second?
Second.
Chris seconds it. All right. So, and now discussion. Any discussion? All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. And Rachel, you weren't there, so we're good to move forward. Awesome. All approved. Thank you, Dana.
You're welcome.
Trying very diligently to make sure that I don't forget to post these on the Secretary of State's website like immediately afterwards. They don't sit for a while. It's me. Stay on top of things. We didn't have any public comments, so I'm going to skip past that. General business for the working groups. Summer camps, I will apologize. I will have stuff ready to circulate probably by the end of the weekend. I just ran out of time with trying to get all these leagues to get their schedules done. So I don't have a ton of stuff other than we'll be able to have when we put together the listings, we'll have a promotional section that'll highlight field hockey, soccer, Little League. Like we'll be able to advertise them in the overarching thing. They'll do the registrations themselves like they are, but it'll look like a complete marketing package. So it just kind of puts it in one spot. One of the benefits for that is when we push this out to the schools as a part of the digital backpacks, it's an opportunity for that information to get included in it as well. So I've been in touch with each of the leagues on it. It's a pretty low benchmark to have included, but working on it. We did get the job descriptions, all of the ones, and thank you to the working group again. Those are all up on the website with the exception of somehow in there, the parks program one got missed. I did some updates and sent it to Chris Cotta. I need to connect with him tomorrow just to finalize it, and that one will be up by end of day tomorrow. And it's been advertised out through the Tiverton Recreation Facebook page. And I've also spoken to the, what's the review group? Personnel board. So those guys are good to go. They were very helpful, connected today on that. So wheels are in motion. How's that?
I do have a question about the employment applications. If someone wanted to apply for a beach attendant and a park counselor, not like the head one, but not the coordinator, the counselor, or whatever, do they need to fill out multiple applications?
I think just one.
Just one? Okay.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's just one, Dana. Yeah. And then when they get interviewed or they get, just tell them you're putting in for both.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is the form on the website. So when they fill out, if they ask you, just have them list whatever they want to apply for.
Well, yeah, because I actually did look at it, but it says list one, only one. But I said, that seems kind of foolish. I said, let me ask.
Well, I mean, personally, I'd love to see it be an electronic process, but that's not my wheelhouse. So yeah, I would just say list more than one. And if the personnel board has a problem with it, we'll connect with them and see what we can do to make it right. So.
Hey, Stu, are we going to advertise? Are we going to put something like a bulletin or something at like maybe the Senior Citizen Center, You know, a couple other places in town where we might be able to draw some older people, mature people that so could team up with like younger kids.
Well, first of all, let's not confuse older and more mature, Bob. I think we need to keep the separation there.
Well, I'm old, but I'm not mature, so that's a perfect example.
Yes,
right
that's
there.
where I was going.
Perfect.
So yes, I also think there's a bunch of other places. I'll put together like a real simple flyer and see what I can take them around town to put out. And I'll send them to you guys too if you have thoughts.
Yeah, Stu, if you get some together, just give them to me. I'll bring them to Country View Estates. I'll bring them to the senior housing up on Hancock Street. I'll bring them to Connecticut Street also, just so people can see them. I think, you know, get some publicity that way, and we might pick up some people, you know.
Yeah, so I'll send an electronic version of one tomorrow, and then if you want printed copies, let me know where you want me to drop them off. So,
okay,
cool. That's a great idea. All right. I also have some. I guess in the past have put, and Chris, you may be able to help with this. We've put an ad in the paper to advertise for positions. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. I have the verbiage from before and it updated it. I'll just send it off to Joan. I don't know. I think that's probably what we're supposed to do, right?
That's the right way to go. That way it goes out. I think she does like Newport Daily News and all the East Bay stuff. Well, like you said, this day and age, you know, you can probably put it on Indeed. Something like that.
Yeah. Right.
Cool. So any other questions on sort of that stuff for right now?
That's good.
Okay. Food truck proposals. I'm going to pull this up here. Chris, thank you for putting it together. See if I can find it here.
Excellent job, Chris.
Kind of rough cut there, you know, but I mean, we started it a couple of years ago. We were there, and then, you know, Grinnell's never really got off the ground that one year. It was a little weird opening, so we pulled back on it.
Come on. Here we go. All right. So the and again, thank you, Chris, for putting this together. Create an ordinance to allow for up to 6 food truck licenses for the town of Tiverton. Charge $100 per license per year. Solicit food truck vendors as we did in 2018 and 19 and review them. A question that, because Chris and I connected very briefly on this yesterday, just to get the wheels moving on it. If you have an organization or a company that has multiple food trucks, right? So I'll use McRae's as an example. He's got the Dell's cart and he's got a food truck. Do we want to, is it considered an overarching license, or is it 2 individuals? Like what are people's kind of thoughts?
I think it's probably got to be, I think he would have to have separate ones for each cart, because they consider the cart as a truck or a location. So unfortunately, it'd probably have to be 2.
Okay.
Which could be
Stu, did Chris mention to you the fee? Because he told me he thought we should ask $200 instead of $100. And I said, you know, the first year I didn't know if we'd want to do that, but he said he was going to mention to you. I didn't know if he did.
We didn't really dive into it, so
okay, that's fine.
200 seems reasonable though in this day and age too. I mean, I don't know if it makes a huge difference.
Yeah, that's what he had said. He said, you know, you're talking about for the whole season, $200. That's really not a lot of money, but
that's not much.
You know, seeing what a lot of people have gone through with the COVID this year, including businesses and stuff like that, a lot of businesses are hurting. So, and being like the first year with the COVID, I think $100 is a good place to start. A lot of companies, a lot of corporations, even major corporations like I work for, are all a lot of them are suffering, making cuts and stuff like that. So some of these smaller places, I don't know. I think the $100 is a good place to start. And then,
but all those big corporations, Bobby, for years have been ripping us off. So now they're going to pay for it, right?
Well, probably no huge corporations in a food truck right now. So yeah, I mean, I think
probably not.
No, what I'm just saying is there's a lot of people hurting out there right now.
You can always go 150 and then you're in the middle, you know.
But if you think of it, they pay $100 and they get 1 day a week from Memorial Day to Labor Day to make that $100 back. That's really, not a bad deal.
Not a
That's
bad
why,
deal.
Not a bad
that's
deal.
why we were saying 200 really is not that, much out of the realm of possibility,
Right.
So could we potentially split the difference on this? So again, thinking about the multiple food truck example here, where we say something to the effect of, if you are a vendor, it's $150. And if you have 2 licenses under the same vendor, it's only an additional $50. So you still get to $200, but it's $150 if you're a single vendor.
Good idea.
Good compromise. Yep.
Yeah, good idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why you're the chairman of this organization, still.
I said to somebody at one point, I'm going to start a volunteer self-help group, and I'm looking for volunteers.
There you go.
All right. So locations, I think what we can do, I can probably, again, we'll probably just do this as like a Word doc for this year, because we're not going to get that many applications. The one thing we'll have to figure out is how a calendar on it works. And again, Chris and I talked a little bit about it, but I'm looking for feedback on like, what's a good way to do it? The leagues are enough of a headache to try and coordinate. Thankfully, they talk to each other. I don't know. Anybody have any ideas?
I had a simple idea was we would give each vendors a letter. In this case, let's say we just have A, B, C, and then we would just start on the first Saturday that we open and start with A, B, C, and then just keep going down the days of the week until it's filled out. I also found, at least from the last time when we were interviewing guys, at our meeting, they were starting to talk about, well, I don't want to do Saturday, and I have Saturday in Pawtucket. I'd rather do. So they're already making deals among themselves about when they can come and go. I think if they have a set schedule and they share numbers, I get the feeling these guys have like an unwritten code of not to be parking in each other's spot on the same day.
No, I agree. This totally feels like it's going to end up like a fantasy football draft. Like, all right, well, in round 3, I'll take Town Farm on Tuesdays. Like,
yep. I got an A. Anybody need an A?
You're right.
So I'm assuming we're going to do the 3 Fogland, Grinnell's, and Boogamarsh Rec. That's it, right? Just those 3, because we don't want to do the soccer fields and that, because that'll take away from the hot dogs and the stuff they sell there, right?
And I put that note in there because it was suggested Town Farm, but I did put a little star there, say if there's a conflict with the leagues that sell food, then we can scratch Town Farm.
Okay.
Yeah, my only question would be, and maybe it's worth asking the leagues first, is if there's an opportunity that Town Farm becomes available, if there's an opportunity to, give a percentage or connect with the leagues that are playing in the fields at that time. I don't know. Maybe it becomes too complicated, but
maybe for year 1 we don't do it. I think if we get Grinnell's and Fogland, a couple trucks here and there, and then Boogamarsh, if somebody wants to go over there, that's probably pretty good.
Cool. Let's make life easy and get rid of Town Farm on that list. Everybody good with that?
Yeah, for now, yeah.
Good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Cool. Chris, this is awesome. Are there any questions for Chris or just about the structure of this? Okay. I'll make some just quick edits to it and then try to put together what the ticketing system will be based on this process and send it back out. So, and then from there, we got to put it in front of the town council, correct, Joe?
Correct.
I believe so, yeah. Pass it by Chris, because I know he said we didn't have to do the other stuff, the job description and the advertising, we didn't have to, but I think this we do.
Yeah, and it was approved before, though, previously. So there is that,
Yeah, I don't think it'll be a problem.
No.
Works. Councilor Burke, how are you?
I'm well, thank you. Sorry, you had a Google Meet option in your link, and I saw that and went to that and was wondering where everybody was. Then I found the Zoom option.
All right, it auto creates that. I think in a lot of cases we stick with Zoom for this, so my apologies. But you look like you're at like Hogwarts or some Harry Potter-ish.
Oh,
well, you're close.
Yeah,
It's the University of Coimbra's old library in Coimbra, Portugal. And I could show you another picture of the students who the student society whose attire that Harry Potter's cloaks were made from.
He pays to be on a council. He gets to go to Portugal.
I haven't been in long enough to do that.
Cool.
And
Well,
Mike,
good to have
also,
you.
I also want to commend you. That was a nice job you did with that Burrillville recreation job description. I thought that was pretty neat.
Thanks.
Yeah, excellent job.
Thanks.
Yeah, real good. Matter of fact, I think we kind of adopted a lot of it.
Good.
Yeah, that I would say I probably took a 80 to 85 to 90% of what you put in there, and then I also Chris Cotta very kindly put his eyes on it as well. So yeah, it's
Nice
been
job.
through the ringer. I think it came out well. So all good.
Yep. Very good.
All right, so we have some field use applications to consider, and I just kind of to show, if you haven't really had time to look through them, I wouldn't blame you, because they're reading through and trying to figure out where there are overlaps and not totally get that it's kind of chaotic. So I tried to take some of the work out of that and went through and looked at how all of the fields overlap, where the places are. So this is a calendar. My intent is to go through this one more time and also talk to the library and others and make one comprehensive calendar, recreation calendar for the town that can be shared anywhere. We'll have it linked off of the webpage. So this is a start. I need to wordsmith it a little bit and clean it up, but getting pretty close on this. So in looking at the different applications we had, which were for Tiverton Little League, there were 2 for East Bay Field Hockey, and then Tiverton Men's Softball. There were no conflicts that came in. There was one that came in last minute, which was for Tiverton Tigers, and there was a conflict, which is why I did not present it, between Tiverton Little League and what Tiverton Tigers needed. I spoke to Dave Paul from Tiverton Little League, and he said that they're able to work it out. They're just looking for Picassett like twice a week evenings, but I didn't want to put it in front of us to vote on if, first of all, it wasn't sorted, because it's easier to be able to have these things be clear. So I would open this up to questions. I can tell you, having looked at it, we're in the clear for where scheduling should be. And so I don't think we're going to have any problems. And I do also want to really commend all of the leagues for communicating with each other. They've been really, really helpful. It's made this a lot easier than it could have been. So a big thank you to all of them for talking, most recently to Dave Paul, because they have such a big scope and Little League's been accommodating. So I'll open it up to questions, and then before we get into the meat of it.
It's Rachel. I saw a possible conflict between the men's softball and the Tiverton Little League for the Bogamarsh softball on Friday nights.
Yep. That particular one, they've already, it was Gary, I believe, was the contact, and they've already indicated that they will work that out between the two of them. So they're okay with it. I'm willing to leave it there with an asterisk or a notation that states that pending a discussion from softball to Little League, but they were fine with it.
Okay.
I actually shared some of these applications with the different groups so they can see what's being asked, rather than me trying to be like, hey, this is what they asked for. You know,
Question I have, Stu. Did we ever come up with a fee that we were going to charge outside organizations that wanted to use our fields? Did we ever come up with something? We had kicked it around last year, and I don't recall if we ever did any, because I missed a few meetings.
I don't think we ever had anything go into place that was finalized. We talked about it, but it was also a matter, I think, of just being really excited to get people back out and doing things. The one area where this has come up a couple of times, and I've talked to them about, is that with soccer in particular, they had a partner that wanted to come in and use the fields, and I asked them to, if that situation arises again, let's talk about it. If it's through Tiverton Youth Soccer, that's one thing and it's part of them. If it's an extra entity that they're partnering with, that's a different conversation. So no pricing model struck right now.
Okay.
All right. So if everybody's open to this, can I just do this as a group approval? Yeah.
Yes.
So could I entertain a motion to accept the field requests for Tiverton Little League, Tiverton Men's Softball, and East Bay Field Hockey?
Stu, I'll go. I'll make that motion with the asterisk that it is contingent upon Tiverton Little League and the men's softball coming to a mutual agreement for the conflict on Friday nights.
I'm going to take Rachel's because she put in the asterisks. I like that. Can I get a second? Chris, did I hear a second from you? All right, excellent. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Beautiful. I know the leagues will appreciate it. They're chomping at the bit. Be cool to see kids get back outside. And by the way, part of this application is that they do have to submit COVID plans and COVID guidelines. So all good. We'll make sure that that stuff gets posted too as we go forward. All right. New business, beach picnic tables. Bob, can I hand this one off to you?
Yeah. Joe Perry and I went down to Fogland last Saturday. And we looked at the picnic tables down there. I believe we counted 14 of them that need to be replaced. They're in fair to poor shape. There's at least 2 that we have to replace the telephone poles. The telephone poles are cracked and stuff like that. So we're going to need DPW to get involved with that. But what Joe and I would like to do is we'd like to get the blessing of the commission to go ahead and rebuild these picnic tables. We have spoken to Chris Carter, and he said that he could find us money to get this done. We're not talking a lot of money. Maybe around $1,000 for the material. Joe and I are going to do all the labor. We're going to donate. Joe's got some paint hanging around that he'll donate and stuff like that. But we just needed to let the commission be aware that we need to build some picnic tables on it, rebuild them. Also, there's a couple of handicap sites down there that the picnic tables are not really handicap accessible. Like if somebody wanted to put a wheelchair or something under them. So Joe and I we're discussing about making those. Right now, the picnic tables are 6 foot long or 6 foot benches. We're talking about making maybe the ones that they handicap, making them like 8 foot long. So have like a 2 foot overhang where you could put a wheelchair under. And then also maybe 1 or 2, maybe even 3 of them, make them 12-foot tables instead of 6-foot tables. So this way here families could gather. Because a 6-foot table doesn't really give you a lot of room for if you have a little family gathering down there. So we're thinking about make a couple of them a little bit larger, a little bit longer. But like I said, we just wanted to bring it before the commission, let them know, get their blessing, and move on from there. The only other thing, too, I noticed, we were down there, and thank God we had Joe's four-wheel drive pickup. Getting into and mostly getting out of the area where the beach is, where the lifeguard goes and stuff like that, there's a lot of sand buildup there. And we had trouble getting out. Joe had to put his truck in four-wheel drive because it was starting to sink in there. So people with cars, I think, are going to have a little bit of a problem getting in there. Chris is smiling,
every spring. Yeah, but I believe every spring that DPW goes down and they clean that out because that's just from the winter, all the tide washing that in. So I think they clean it out at the beginning of the spring.
That's all wind. Yeah, I watch out of my window. I can see there's at least 1 or 2 people get towed. Stuck every week.
Export.
It's not funny. But
Bob, I have a question about the tables. Do you count, when you counted those 14 tables, are those all beachside, or are we going to do anything with the, I know there's at least 1 table that's like on the cove side.
2 on the base.
Is that our responsibility?
Well, this is the ones that we checked out were all on the beach side. We really didn't get a look on the other side. We went out to the point, but there's nothing out on the point and stuff like that.
Yeah, I know there's 1 table on that backside because I love going that side.
Yeah, the backside's been blocked off, though. We probably have to discuss that because there's been a lock there since COVID. So I don't know if we want to open that back up again. There's some discussion about that. I think we should have maybe next meeting.
I don't think we could open. I thought DEM shut that down. I didn't think we could open.
No, they didn't shut that down. We shut that down. They put boulders there and they put it down by the fishing area at the far end. That's actually a road.
Right.
That one at the far end, we might want to open up because I've talked to the fire department about that. That's like one area they can actually launch a boat or bring a stretcher up on. They can bring trucks down to the water. So it's something for safety concern back there.
Hey, Chris, I don't know if you're going to be available on Saturday, but Joe and I, we're going to go down there sometime Saturday, probably in the afternoon.
Yeah.
We're gonna take one of the picnic tables. We're gonna disassemble and bring it back here. So this way here we have a pattern or a model that we can go by to build from.
Yeah.
You know a lot about what went on down there and stuff like that. Would you be willing to meet us down there? We could walk around.
Sure. Yeah, just let me know what time, and I'll make sure I'll send you my phone number if you don't have it.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll just look for somebody stuck in the sand. I'll go down and get you guys.
There's another question too. Yeah. Now I know the police were supposed to donate one of the tables, to be made out of Trex. Are we going to look into the pricing of doing all the tables in Trex as opposed to the wood? Could we do that?
To tell you the truth, Dana, I think Trex would be too expensive and the people would just ruin them. Some of those tables, you can see they poured gasoline on them, they lit them on fire, and that's what they do with Trex. Just think, I don't know, I think it'd be money, really.
I was just thinking, like in the long term, you would have to, aside from people damaging it, it would last longer, and we wouldn't have to replace them as often.
Yeah, we thought of that, but like I said, a lot of them they looked like somebody poured gasoline on them and lit them on fire. There was at least 3 or 4 of them like that. So, if they're going to do that, they'll do it with Trex.
That's true.
To me, it's a kind of waste of money.
I also think
we are going to take pictures of the tables before.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know about after, but we will take pictures of tables before.
Yeah. When Bob asked me to add this to the agenda, the one thing I said is, 2 items. First off is there's nothing for us to vote on because it's not our budget. It's just sort of hey, from a commission standpoint, are we okay with it? And I think it does need to get done. And if the town has the funds to support it and, they can get it. Awesome. I also said, please take photos because I think it's important for people to see what's happening. So even just with an iPhone, like a couple before and after photos would be great. We don't need to set up a beauty shot of it, but something quick.
What are you going to do with the tables that are really like low in the sand?
Well, we're going to try to get DPW to go down there and put some telephone poles in the ground. Mm-hmm. And then we'll try to, get them so they're a little higher. There's not many. There's only a couple that are low.
Yeah.
Yeah. Most of them are pretty good height. The only thing is the handicap ones, you really can't get a wheelchair. If somebody's in a wheelchair or something, they can't get up to a picnic table. So we're thinking about making those a little longer so they can get on the ends.
Mm-hmm. Hey, let me know. Me, Jeff, and Danny will be glad to help out.
Okay.
Same.
Jeff said he got his table ready to go.
5:30 Saturday morning. Be there.
Yeah.
I'll be busy doing something, and by something I mean sleeping. It might be just, Bob, to your point about the accessibility on it. One thing we might want to take a look at is the ADA guidelines, just because that may help shape how we want to do it. And I do know somebody that does ADA accessibility guidelines, like education. So I can connect with her. She actually was a former Tiverton resident, lives in Little Compton now, but I'm sure she'd be willing to give some insight. And so I'll ask her and connect the 2 of you. Okay. Just to see if she can give any guidelines on. I'm sure there are guidelines out there that they would recommend.
There are guidelines and stuff out there about that. Any help like that we can get, we really appreciate. It's just that's something that came to my attention when we're down there measuring. They're all 6 foot, and like I say, if somebody's with disability or something has a wheelchair or whatever, there's no way they can get to the picnic table.
Yeah.
So again, if we extend it, make it a little bit longer on one side, they'd be able to, get a wheelchair in there or something.
Yep.
Well,
you bring up an interesting question, as I do think at some point we need to have maybe an open forum with people in town to ask about how can we make recreation in general more accessible. And this isn't the right time to dive into that, but I think there are a lot of people that need accommodation will know what we should be helping them to provide. So it's not always just what's legally required, but what can we do? So for example, beach wheelchairs. Beach wheelchairs are something that we could look at either getting a grant for or buying, and then it becomes a question of how do we store them. So I think there's a good opportunity for us to take your line of thinking and build on it. But let's put together a plan for what that sort of research.
Fogland, if you look at Fogland is a diamond in a rough. Fogland is a prime area. It's a prime beach, and we can do a lot with that beach. There's endless possibilities we can do down there with Fogland. I think a lot of you would agree with that. But you have to take small steps, start small, and continue to build from there. I was telling Joe, I'd love to see us get a York rake, get down there and clean up the beach. Get some nice sand, put some nice sand down there. But this is all something that costs money, which we don't have a lot of right now. And, it just takes time. But there's a lot that beach has a lot of potential.
It does, which we'll hopefully be able to exploit and explore as we get going. So, all right. So, thank you to both you and to Joe for kind of spearheading this side of it. I think it's going to be a huge plus, and those tables need it. Any other comments from anybody? Questions,
ideas, anything? I know Dana, Joe, when we go down there Saturday, we'll look at the other side where Dana's talking about. And worst case scenario is we save some pieces off of this table, pieces off that table, whatever for now, to make a couple of the tables that maybe we could put over there.
I don't think there's many tables over there.
No, the backside, there's one that's like maybe a quarter of it left, and there's one that just got a post sticking out of the ground. That's it.
No, I'm talking about the 14 that we're going to take out along the shoreline there, faces Portsmouth. We might be able to salvage some wood out of there to put Band-Aids where you need stitches, more or less, for now.
Yep. Sounds good. Definitely make it nice.
Yeah. It's nice not have broken things. Okay, so the only other item I had on our agenda for tonight was just something that I wanted to put out there before we get too far into the year. So last year, I got on a call with Chief Jones, Chris Cotta, Sarah, and myself, and we were just doing regular check-ins pretty much once a week between Memorial Day and Labor Day. If we didn't have a reason, we didn't have the call, we just kept going. I would like to redo that same structure. I just want to put it out. I think Bob is probably the right person as the beach representative from our group to be that person in that working group. And so what I would, and again, this doesn't require a vote, it's just putting out for feedback. Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, one thing I was going to mention that you brought that up, we had talked about, we'd like to see a porta-john put near the gatehouse for the attendants, because every time they have to go to the bathroom, they got to go all the way to the bathhouses. And a lot of times it's so busy that one person can't handle the traffic coming in, where if they would have a porta-john, it'd be very convenient for them. So, we discussed that, maybe look into if that's a possibility.
Yeah, put a porta-john next to the cement house.
Sure. We had moved a lot of the porta-johns that were under our budget into DPW, so I can connect with Rick and get his thoughts on how we can do it. It's a good point. Yeah, let's take a look at it. My only point on just this bullet was Bob's willing to take on having a regular check-in with various leaders. I think maybe extending that a little bit more. So as we get into it, somebody on the parks and the program side. So you have like the two people from rec and then other volunteers there from different areas. Anybody have any objection to us, sort of giving Bob the blessing to go forth and connect?
No, it's good.
All right, Bob, you're knighted.
Thank you.
Yay.
Go forth, my child.
Not bad for a Republican, huh?
On that note,
a joke between Stu and I.
Don't put politics in it.
Does anybody-
Oh, boy.
does anybody have anything else that we should put on the docket for right now? Hearing none. As always, it's lovely to see all of you. Could I entertain a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Got a Bob motion and Dana second. All in favor?
Hi.
Hey, Chris, you're going to send me your phone number?
I'll email it to you. I'll email it to you. And
I think I have, Chris. I'll check. I have it already from
if you
previous
have a
year.
pen, you can write it down.
Go ahead, shoot it.
401
Yep.
954
Hang on 1 second over here. Oh, somebody writing it
Yep,
down?
go ahead.
Okay.
7046.
7046.
That's me.
Got it.
Peace.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Good night, everybody.
All
Have a
right.
great
Bye.